Well, my apologies about that. I really have no idea what was going on there. Can you tell me, please, what is the volume of the instrument like, and what is the volume of my voice like? It seems to sound okay at this end. I went onto my scheduled live stream, and for those of you who stream, you will know exactly what I mean. I've got my stream scheduled, and I click on it, and I press go live, and I start Touchscaper going, and then it's like instrument could be a touch louder. Okay, I'll do that, Dean. And I get the spinning circle of death. There, that's a bit louder. Okay, right then. So, Touchscaper, Actually, no, before I start wobbling on about that, who's in the chat? Let's have a look. Loads of folk. Oh, I see you've all been chatting away without me while I was having a mild panic. Well, that's far too much chat for me to catch up on, and far too many people for me to say hello to and not miss anyone. But thank you all for being here. I really, really appreciate it. It means so much to me. So, what I should have said before is welcome to Jamie TV, streaming 100% live on YouTube. And I successfully remembered to say YouTube because last week I said Facebook and I felt silly about it for a week. So, thank you all for not mocking me too cruelly. Now, I have a little update for you. Some of you who've been following what I do will know that I am waiting for a Focusrite interface to arrive. And I am still waiting. But just like a week ago, IK Multimedia, when they found out that I didn't have an interface, and they were like, well, we'll just send you one. And it should have arrived today. It didn't arrive today, but that means, all being well, it should be here tomorrow. So that's very exciting. Still waiting for the Focusrite. So I am really incredibly grateful to IK Multimedia, who quite a few people have some quite critical things to say about. But for me, so far, the way they've dealt with me, they have been absolutely wonderful. So soon I should have an IK Multimedia interface, and I should also have a Focusrite interface. And yeah, things are starting to take shape here in the studio. So, Touchscaper. I was talking in Doug's stream yesterday, and I can't remember if it was Russ or Wall who asked what today's stream was going to be about. And I was saying it was going to be about Touchscaper, and I said it's about the best iOS app, right? Now, there's a reason why I said that. And at the time, I was trying to figure out a title for today's stream. I was doing my thumbnail for the stream. Now, obviously, I don't mean that it's the very best iOS music app, bar none. But what I want to say about this app is that it's wonderful in that it's a perfect iPad app. Because what is the iPad? It's a touch screen interface. And that's exactly what this app embraces. So you simply put your fingers on the screen and it makes a beautiful sound. And you move them around and it gets more beautiful. So I had better explain how it works. There's another reason why I think it's wonderful as well, but I'll try and remember to mention that later. Okay, so what we have here is, if I select a chord from this list at the side and then put my fingers within the circles here, it will play a voicing of that chord. Now, if I put a finger in the middle, we get a very low note. And the further out I go, the higher note we get. Now, each sound that Touchscaper has has two sounds to it. So you have the initial sound, and then the second sound. As you drag your fingers, the second sound swells in. We also have this wonderful ribbon control at the side. And if I drag my finger up, it will play chords sweeping up the keyboard. If I change this noggin up here so that it's diagonal, it will play notes from the scale. So all the chords and scales played relate to whatever is selected here. You can change the chord whilst you're playing. And it does an awful lot more besides. Let me just show you this, because this is a neat trick. If I put my fingers on the screen, swell in the other sound, and press this, that will hold the chord. Now if I press this, it will gyroscope around, kind of randomly, and so the sweeps on each note are different. And if you just wait, it'll all sweep back in. And it's beautiful. It's relaxing to listen to. Just take hold of. It's relaxing to listen to, and it's easy to do. Now, for someone like me, right, who knows his chords, knows his scales, can play a number of instruments to a reasonable standard, right, an app like this would never appeal. I would never think of getting an app like this, because it's kind of like, well, it doesn't require any of that knowledge that I have. So why would I want that? But Doug got me a code for it, and because of that, I had to go with it, and I've had the best time playing with this app. I just got completely lost in it. Now, the other reason why I think this app is wonderful is because the other day I had a terrible day. Now, for me, I'm a kind of upbeat, kind of bouncy, positive person, right? You know, you can throw anything at me and I will find a way to come out the other side smelling the roses. That's just the way I'm put together. But every now and again, I have a really, really down day. I don't know why, it just, maybe, you know, that's kind of the trade-off. And I was just having this really, really bad day, and that was the day that I decided to have a look at this app. And I was like, oh, I'll have a look at this, you know, stupid app, you know. And I just felt so much better. I almost forgot to go and pick Freddie up from school because I was just having such a wonderful time making sounds with this app. Okay, so there's loads to tell you about this app, so I better crack on and get on with it. What shall I tell you at first? Okay, we can have another ribbon instrument across the bottom. Oh, but it's come up as a keyboard. Well done, Jamie. Okay, in that case then, we shall go into settings. And here I can choose between a keyboard style. I can have a ribbon at the bottom. I can have a black and white looking keyboard, or I can have it in the same color theme. And the keyboard works in much the same way, and the ribbon, which I forgot to select, goes like this. Right, now I can change the sound of the ribbon at the bottom. This one's a particularly nice one. Let's select that. Oh, I don't want that. Go away, you. I hate that thing. Now I've lost my sound. There we go. Change my ribbon instrument. Or let's see now. What about interstellar organ? It's just astounding, right? And you know, I had so much fun with it. I don't even care that I don't need to put my fingers on the right keys or on the right frets, or it's just it's really, really nice. And I could see this really being an absolute joy to someone who would love to make music, but maybe isn't, trained in the way that I am, and other people are. But you can just dive into this and just enjoy it and make some wonderful, wonderful sounds. Okay, so let me show you some of the fabulous things that it can do, because there's so much more to it than what you've seen so far. So if I go to, I really am going to get titsed off with that thing. Go away. Where can I put you? You see, on this app, there's nowhere I can put you that you're not in the way. Go up there. Maybe you can stay out of my way up there. All right, so let me show you this. Right, so if I go like this and press this note here, it will put me a low bass note in every time. And if I go here, I can create a chord pattern. Oh no, what I should do actually is, you see this list of chords here. What I can do is, if I go to the bottom of the list, I can change out the chords that are in there. So I can add chord, select which chord I want, what scale I'd like to belong to that chord, etc., etc. Or I can use this helpful guide that will help me choose chords that sound wonderful one after the other. Let me do this. I want to do it this way. I'm going to go to the light bulb here. Now I'm going to type a name in for what we're doing here. So let's see, live stream. And then we're going to choose a first chord. And I'm going to choose a G major. There we are. And create new scene. Okay, now we've got one chord in our scene. I'm going to go here, and this is going to suggest me chords that would sound great after G. So if I play that G, and then I can play some of the other chords around. I can keep referencing G, that's nice, G to C major 7. Okay, I like the C major 7, so let's add that to our list. Okay, now it's going to suggest chords that follow C major 7 nicely, and the way that it does it is the ones in the inner circle, right? That sounds a bit Masonic or something, right? In the inner circle are the ones that contain the most same notes. I think that's what these numbers here mean. So that's like 3 samey notes. So C major 7, G6. Kind of like that A minor 7, that's nice. I think we'll add that one. Let's go with that. Right. And then let's find some more. So what follows A minor 7 nicely? That's sweet. D7, okay, we'll add that. Right, now let's purposely add one that we don't want to add, right? So let's go with one that we've already added, right? So select the G. Oh, it won't let me add G because is that because I've already got it maybe? All right. All right, I don't want C6, so I'm going to add that one. Right? Now, I decide I don't want that chord, so what I do is I select one that I do want. So let's go with the B minor 7. If I press this button, it will swap the chord. And I'm going to add one more chord here. Let's see now. What can I add there? E minor 7. That'll work. Okay, so now I've got a nice little selection of chords. Now this is not a progression, this is just some chords to work with, right? And I'm going to save this. Overwrite that, I guess. Yeah, okay, I think that's right. Oh, by the way, something I meant to mention at the start, but I was a little kind of put about by the stream not starting properly. I can change the colour of the screen. Now, I love the green, and it seems to look okay in the feed. But here, look, I can change the theme. So is there one of these colours that looks better for a YouTube live stream? I'm just kind of flicking through the colours now. Look at that. Or I can go in a light monochrome mode, which I don't really particularly like personally. What do we think? Is the one that we dig best, one that shows up better? What do we reckon? What are we saying in the chat? I think I'm in front. I'm in front because I'm looking at the green is good. Okay, well, I like the green very much. Okay. Right then, so now I've got a selection of chords to work with. Hear that low note coming in because I selected this option up here? That just sounds beautiful. You know, Doug, I was just going to ask if you were streaming tonight. You're not. Okay, so I don't need to panic about rounding up too quickly. All right, that's good to know. Thank you, Doug, Mr. Awesome. Everybody give a big up to Doug in the chat for everything that he has done for iOS music, and not just that, but for us as a community of people. I mean, since lockdown began, how many Doug live streams have you watched and enjoyed just chatting, just being in touch with the other people who love Doug, right? The man's awesome, so give him a big up in the chat. Right, okay, Jamie, get on with it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you this button here. Right now, this is kind of the center of everything, really. So I'll put it in the middle. Right, now what I can do with this is go to this arranger here, and this is going to allow me to have kind of like a progression of chords that will loop round and round. So I'm going to stick some chords in here. I'm going to go G, and I'm going to select my A minor 7 here and press add. There we go. And then I'm going to select C major 7 and then D7. Add. Right, and let's have them all loop around for a couple of bars. And now there's much more we can do with this, but we're going to come back to it in a little while. For now, I'm going to come out of it and let's just speed the tempo up a little bit. Right, let's kind of move up to like, let's go up to like 110. Bit more frisky kind of a tempo. Right, now if I press this button here, it will cycle around those chords that I've just selected. Now I'm not pressing anything in on the screen at the moment, so you're just hearing that bass note there. Okay, now what I can do is I can put in a chord, press hold, let it gyro about, just sit back, enjoy it, have a listen, and maybe while it's doing that I can go to the mixer up here and adjust the volumes of, I've got a master out here, this is the ribbon volume and this is the main instrument volume, so I want that one to be a bit quieter. Here what this does is I slowly drag it up the screen. And it changes to suit the chord change underneath. It's fabulous. Okay, let's just stop that for a moment. Now then. Oh yes, and I'm panicking about possibly forgetting to tell you about this up here. Here we have the effects, and if I just, oh actually what I should have done is I should have left a chord playing. Let's just do that. Okay, now my effects, I have some delay and reverb. There are two delays and I've got one set to half the speed of the other, but let's just kind of make it a bit madder for a moment. And I can change it from a digital sounding delay to a tape delay, and I can double time it, which sounds particularly good on the setting that I had before. Anyway, now let's just back those off a little. Okay, we also have some astounding sounding reverbs. This is kind of the outer spacey sounding reverb. I'm going to turn the reverb up a little so you can just hear what I'm doing. Okay, now we've got a little picture of a bog, and I think that's because this is supposed to be a bathroom reverb. That's nice. We've got like a little picture of a temple, so again, that kind of a sound. Let's swell back in a little. Now this one has completely foxed me. I'm not sure whether this picture is supposed to be a piece of wallpaper or a cheese grater or what the hell it is, but it sounds nice anyway. And then we've got a churchy type one. This is particularly big. Sandpaper reverb. Yeah, Dean, it does kind of, you know. But you know what? The best one is the default one, the spacey one. Let's take that double delay off there. Okay, I'm going to stop this. Right, now I'm going to show you my favorite thing about this app, which has many favorite features for me. I'm going to, oh, you know, I've totally forgot to tell you about the voices, you know. Maybe I should do that actually first before I go on to my favorite thing. So up in this little folder here, right, now here we can select scenes that we've already saved, or some of the ones that come with the app, and that would be like selecting one of these, right? We don't need that right now, but here we have a lot of instruments, and it's kind of, if you look at the list, you can see that there are 2 instruments in each one, because each sound has 2 sounds. So I find that personally, for me, the ones that sound particularly good are the ones that have a first instrument that's kind of piano-y or has the attack, and then something with a swell for the second instrument. But there are some that do what's the word? That aren't like that. Okay, I had a clever word in my head, but it left me. So let's pick one of okay, so analog pad and pianoscaper. And then what about, oh, the analog sweep. And this is a good one. This is a really nice one. And then let's go with mellow piano. Oh, mellow piano and dark strings. That's one of my favorites. Now what we can do is we can go into edit, and here you can see, here we've got voice A and there voice B, and we can change the volume of the instrument. That piano is perhaps a little bit loud in this one. Take that back a little bit. Now one thing that I'm not going to dwell on for very long is these features down here. If you get this app, you must have a play with them, because they do have a great effect on how the app works. But these ones you're not going to hear in the stream, because these are ones that affect the panning, and I believe that this will be going out in mono, because well, because I'm using a mobile device to stream. So there we are. But these affect the rate of panning as you drag your finger across the screen, and this affects the touch volume. So maybe I can just give you a quick example of that. I find the one that's most pleasing is the default one, which is this. Okay, and you know what? There are an awful lot of settings in this app to play with, and I am not going to show you all of them. I'm going to kind of show you, I'm just going to kind of try and give you a good grasp of it. And you'll notice around this app as well, there are lots of random dice type features, which are something I don't tend to use myself. I like to be quite sort of, you know, I make the decisions myself, you know. I know a lot of people love those random buttons, and that's great. You know, they're great features. They're just not really for me. So you can change the attack of each instrument. So it's good to have the first instrument with a hard attack, and then, you know, let's take dark strings to soft, and I'm going to save those changes to that. See what's happening? What's happening here with this app is that anywhere that I put my fingers in the rings, the only decisions I'm really making are nearer to the edge, I'm going to get higher notes, and towards the middle I'm going to get lower notes. What it's doing is, I put my fingers in the rings, must be careful how I say that, eh? I put my fingers in the rings and it selects a note appropriate to a voicing of this chord. Which is marvellous, wonderful. And it does the same thing with the ribbons. And one thing that you're just going to have to trust me on is that it sounds marvellous when you pan, when you move your fingers left to right. That's how you pan it. Okay, right then. So now I'm going to show you my favoritist feature. Maybe I want a different sound though first. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to the default sound, because as wonderful as... Oh, hang on, no, I want to show you this one though. This is piano and sci-fi. Maybe I'll keep that one. Maybe I'll switch to default in a bit. I don't know, but the default one is just awesome. Right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press on this, and I'm going to select this here. Now this is going to it's going to allow us to very easily and quickly put together some backing for our beautiful chord progression. You'll see if you look across the top, we have drums, percussion, synth, and a touch instrument. And each one that I press, you'll see the different options. That thing was right. The options of instruments that we have for each of the things. Can't think of the word. Each of the things, right? It'll all become clear anyway as I go along. Right, so let's start with drums, because you know everything starts with drums. And I'm going to play my sequence or my chord progression, and I might struggle a little bit actually because I've not left a chord running. Maybe I can do this without coming out of there. Select a chord, hold it, gyroscope it. Okay. Okay, now, so you can see my bar, right? We're scooting across the bar here. So I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's stick a bass drum in. Let's go 4 on the floor to start with. Right, okay, now I'm going to stick in offbeat hi-hats because that's a happy sound. Now, okay, what I can also do, I'll just turn this down a little bit while I'm talking. What we can also do here is you'll see each note that I've put in, right? It looks like a dice and it's a number 6. And that means that every time that note will always play. But we can reduce that number down, and then we have a probability factor, if I can say the word. And that means that sometimes those notes will play and sometimes they won't know, and the probability is based on the number that you put in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some extra hi-hats. With a low probability. So sometimes we'll get variations is what we'll get. That's the word I'm looking for. And let's put an open hat over here. Here we are, right? Okay, now that is an 808, but we can also select a 909. Takes a couple of seconds to change to the new instrument. Or maybe I should turn this back up a little now. We've got Lindrum, my personal favourite drum machine. I would love a real one. DMX, Pops, 707, that was nice, and BB78, which I'm sure is a droid from Star Wars. Right, I'm going to go to Lindrum because I love Lindrums. Now what this is a smart arpeggiator, which is why it says SMARP up here. We can choose to use the SMARP or not use it, and I'll show you why. I'll show you why it's awesome. What I'm going to do, I'm going to skip out percussion for a moment, and I'm going to go to synth. And if I press down here, you'll see that we can put a bass note in. I'm having a little bit of trouble finding the fader on my mixing desk because I'm sat in the dark. It's pitch black in here. The only thing I can see is the screen and a little candle I've got burning. Right, okay, so I've got a bass note going on. And that's a 303. You'll see the choices of instruments for this synth are across the top there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in a couple of other notes. Don't like that there. Maybe, actually. Okay, so that's my 303 sound. Now what's going on is that the smart arpeggiator will choose a note for us based on these notes that I've put in across the grid. I don't have to think about it, you know, too deeply. All the notes are going to be in key. Now if I just quickly do this, oh, I've gone too far. Right, okay, so now we've just got a 303 sound. SMARP is off. Right, so we've got some other sounds. We've got a 101. We've got a mini Moog. Oberheim. Probably me being thick, but I have no idea what SEM stands for. Somebody in the chat tell me and make me feel thick. And we've got a 106. M64. I'm going to go to Oberheim. I'm going to put SMARP on. Right, okay, hear the difference this makes. Now let's have a list of some of the SMARP instruments. 106 guitar. 106 pop. You'll love this. Right, 106 pad. Or a 6 VCF. And I'm going to choose pop because it makes me smile. And that for me is what this app has been all about. Right, now let's go to the touch instrument. You will not believe how awesome this is going to be. I'm going to just put in a couple of notes. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to put a synth note in for me. And just let me move this. Down here at the bottom, we've got a volume for drums. We've got a boost for drums, so it sounds like you're always kind of, you know, the velocity's up full. Which I kind of like. We've got a room reverb, which I really like. Right, now, let's change the sound of this touch instrument so you can hear it properly. Let me select chord. And there you can see the chord that it's playing for me. Select a different kind of chord. Delays here for the synth. And let's go with the swell. What's happening on the screen with the swell? I've just switched on the random colours for the touch instrument. Hear that swell? How fabulous is that? Right, now let's go back to here. I want this to just play a chord for me. I can't decide which sound I like best, they all just sound so good. There we are, right? So there's my chord. Right, okay, now let's just stop that a moment and I'm just going to show you the next thing. Oh yeah, hang on a minute. Just stop that. Okay. Right, now if I go back to my arranger here, what I can do is set up a new section. So I'm going to go to arrangement number 2, and here I'm going to have, let's just have something a bit more downbeat sounding. Let's switch out that G for B-7. So I just select it and I press change, and then I select one and press add, and let's go with that C major 7. Sounds wonderful. Let's see what that sounds like after there. So Now I want, let's have 2 bars of B minor 7, 2 bars of E minor 7, and 4 of C major 7. Now, let's have this one looping round so we can check it out. Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that. I'm going to stop it for a moment and just explain to you what's happened there. So what's going on now is that because I only have one set of backing set up, right, in pattern number 1, what it's doing is for my arrangement here, it's playing that for both arrangement number 1 and arrangement 2, but it still sounds fine because it adjusts itself to the chords. It just plays appropriate notes to the chords that are passing by. So it still sounds wonderful. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here into the first arrangement, and at the end of next to each chord, I can put pattern number 1 in there. All right, so it's going to play pattern number 1 all the way through arrangement number 1. And in arrangement number 2, what we're going to do is we're going to set this up to just play through one time. And then what it will do is go to section number 1. So I have to tell it to go to, and I only want one repeat. And then I need to go to arrangement number 1 and tell it I want it to go to section 2 after it's played through. It needs to go to section number 2 after it's played through 4 times. Okay, there we go. Right, now, when you're not doing this, when you're just going round and round one arrangement, you just have your loop on, right? To take it off, because this took me a moment to figure it out, you have to press go to, and then you get these options. You can, of course, set this to just change randomly, which, you know, is probably awesome for some people, but I like to be in control. So now, we've got 2 arrangements, but let's have, you know what I'm going to do, just for a moment. I'm going to go to arrangement 2, and I'm going to set it to loop. You'll see why in a moment. We'll go here, and I'm going to go to pattern number 2, and I'm going to set up a new pattern here. Now, I didn't show you the percussion, so let's go to percussion. Now, here we've got percussion for all of those drum machines. And the percussion, as you will know, if you know anything about these classical drum machines, the percussion is quite different on each one and is in different places. So you really have to look what's in the side. And it tends, when you're working with this, it tends to help if you decide early on which instrument you want to use rather than putting in the dots and then cycling through the kits. But you know, that can work too. So let's just put something random in, and maybe, which one was it I particularly liked the other day? Right, so maybe the shaker. Let's have this playing. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing as I did earlier with some random notes. Right, and let's use what we got here. Right, now let's go to our drums and add some bass drums. Now, I could have this on a different instrument to last time. You don't have to use the same drums on each on each pattern, but I want to because I like that kind of consistency. So I'm going to my Lindrum there. Right, okay, and now let's go, let's go with the 303 on this, and we'll go well, let's say so that these notes are going to be a bit more random this time. Didn't mean to touch the screen then. So sometimes this is going to be quite busy, but I'm reducing the probability of the notes down, so it's going to be different each time. Right, maybe we need a bit more in drums wise. Yeah, let's have some nice Lindrum claps in. And we'll have a random orb on this one. Okay. Accidental screen press there. Okay. Let's put some chords in. Okay, now I'm going to set my arrangement to move from one pattern to the other. Right, okay, now let's see if we can get this. Okay, after 4 repeats, you're going to go to section 2. You're right, Doug. I need to put pattern 2 in the pattern box. You see, I'm really just not that sharp. Okay, we've put pattern 2 in the pattern box, and in pattern 2 we've got 1 repeat and then go to section 1. So let's see if it works. All right, okay. So that sounds pretty good. It's not the best change in the world, right? I admit it's not the best move from one pattern to the other, but that's me. That's kind of, that's just, I came up with a bit of a bogus arrangement to follow the other one. But, you can see the potential of this when you can set up the 10 different arrangements, and I think it's 10 different patterns, and you can have lots of repeats and loops round. You could set up like a big old, a real big old arrangement with this thing, and it's all self-contained. You don't need anything else. You can connect it to other apps via Midi, which I may have a little go with in a moment. I think Colin wanted to see that. Is Colin here? If he's not, then I might just skip it because, oh, no, he is here. Right, okay, I better do it then. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to show you what this box is here. Now, this box here is kind of a clip launcher. So it will allow you to select, now I know some of you will be very familiar with clip launcher type apps, and some aren't so much, but what it allows you to do is you've got arrangement 1 here and arrangement 2 here, and here's the list of instruments. And then what you can do is you can just select a pattern from the other arrangement. I'll pop it into that one and see what that sounds like, and you can use that to sort of jam with if you like. So let's just kind of have this play. You'll see it's a very, very similar view to the other screen, to this one. Right, so now we've got this pattern playing in that arrangement. See? So now you can see how using that, you've not just got 2 arrangements, you've got the possible cross-pollination of the 2 arrangements now, right? Okay, I think that was a good choice of words. You may not agree with me. Okay, so let's see now. What have I missed out? There's probably still loads of things, but I think I've kind of given you a fair old overview of what you can get out of this app and most of the things that it does, and basically how it works. You can flick your keyboard on and off here, and of course, actually, let me have a look in settings and see if that might just jog my memory to anything I might need to tell you. I was using this earlier with 2 iPads, which I'm not going to do right now because you can't see the other one. I've not set the screen up for that. But what I did was, in advanced, I set up all the Ableton link and everything, and in the other app as well, which was Maker, and I like doing that. I've not done it very often actually, but I had a great time with it because what I'm doing is I've kind of got some extra drums and silly sounds in Maker. This is playing, this is doing its whole arrangement thing, and then Maker, when I press play, it waits and it joins in on the one, and they were playing perfectly in sync. It was quite wonderful. So let's have a look here. Right, so there are various options in here, like you can switch on, you can switch certain function icons on and off. I don't really need to show you that. That's kind of not really imperative. But it's well worth getting into the menus and having a good look around the menus and seeing what options you have. Now, I do want to show you, right, okay, I can't remember if I showed you this earlier, so I'm just going to show you this again if I did do it earlier. If I didn't do it earlier, then it's not again. Oh dear, Jamie, shut up. Right, so keyboard style here. We've got the classic keyboard. Now I showed you this. We've got the ribbon one here, and then we can choose a sound for the ribbon instrument down here. And let's go with swirly sweep. Let's choose that one, and then you press set as ribbon instrument, There we go. Of course, using the ribbon instruments, you can, if instead of sweeping across, you do this, you've got individual notes, but random ones. Just turn up my fader a little bit. Okay, right. Now, Colin wanted to know about the Midi. Now, I know Doug did a similar kind of a stream with this app some time ago, and he spoke about the Midi, and he didn't want to set the Midi up, right? Because Doug was saying how wonderful this app is just to play with in itself, just self-contained, and it is. It's marvelous. It's just, I mean, like right now, I haven't even got an interface. I'm simply iPad with a stereo mini jack plugged into the headphone thing and out to my mixing desk, which is coming back into the iRig stream, which is what you're hearing. And that is as complicated as my setup is today. It's just completely self-contained. I've got no controllers attached to it at all. You don't need them. This is about putting your fingers on the screen and not worrying about specific notes and just expressing yourself. Okay, so I shall procrastinate no longer. I shall go into here and we shall go to Advanced and we shall enable Midi. Right, now what I need is another app to connect Touchscaper to. So let's go and choose another app. Let's choose is there too many apps? Can't decide what to pick. In synths, let's go with Phase 84 because I don't use it enough. It sounds awesome and I don't use it enough. Now, okay, maybe choose a different sound perhaps. What about warm pad? Yeah, okay, that might do it. You know, people are watching, Jamie. Don't piss pants about. Maybe that one. Yeah, let's go with that one. Okay, now if I press this MIDI button up here, that should show me something, I think. Now you'll see here that we've got Touchscaper listed down here. And I'm not going to worry too much about this. I just wanted to see that they are connected. And I'm not going to worry about any settings in here. Don't care about that. I'm going to come out there. And then I'm going to go to my MIDI icon up here. And I'm going to press main instrument B and press phase 84. Right, and there we are. If I take that back off, phase 84, we go back to Touchscaper, and there we've got phase 84 in the mix, which is pretty loud, I have to say. I kind of really ought to have remembered to have turned phase 84 down, but you know, I never said I was clever. Right, okay, let's try it now. Okay, so should we be really brave and try and add another one? Right. Yeah, okay, so we've got main instrument B to phase 84. I wonder, oh now then, You know, I'm not a MIDI genius. It's really not my area. So, uh, uh, if this goes terribly pear-shaped, you'll just have to forgive me. I haven't tried this, so we are flying by seat of pants here. In instruments, I have Ravenscroft. Right? Wonder if we can use this as instrument 1. And let's pick that nice Prometheus thing, right? Now, if I go into settings here, I don't think I've ever really looked at settings in here. Oh, look, see, Touchscaper's attached there, right? Okay, right, so that's enough for that. We're not going to worry about that. We'll go back to Touchscaper, go to MIDI button, main instrument. B is attached to phase 84, so can we put, hang on. I know I'm not seeing Ravenscroft here. I expected to see Ravenscroft in this list, and it's not there. Okay, maybe I do need to piss pants about Ravenscroft then. Oh dear. Oh, hang on. Right, yes. I need to maybe make A active, perhaps. We've got a list of possible connections, and A would maybe seem to be voice 1. So, it's not there. Let's try opening it again. Yeah, you see, you know, I've connected that now, and I've connected it, right, and it's not there. If I weren't live streaming, right, it would probably work perfectly. So let's just go back here. I might have missed something because, you know, I'm not really very good at reading things. Sample, right? I'm going to press network session 1. I've always been, you know, a little curious as to what network session even means, really. Sometimes I press it and it makes things work, and I don't really worry about it any further than that. Right, so it's not appearing here, so I want to press session 1. Ha 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 ha! There we go. See what I mean? Sometimes I just press it and it makes it work, and then I don't think about it any further, so I don't understand it. MIDI, it's like the Force, or something like that. Now, I'm not saying that's the most beautiful sound in the world, but we've created a sound. What would that sound like if I did this? I think something broke. Yeah, that's not good. It's obviously just too much for my iPad, because Ravenscroft is a bit of a CPU sucker, and my iPad's very old and steam powered. So we're gonna hang in now then. Stop that. Right. So which is a shame because it sounds wonderful. Maybe I should have picked a different instrument. Maybe I should have picked something a little bit less sucky. I don't even know if does this even have like no, this doesn't even have. There's nowhere to press anything to get any MIDI in and out of this. That's a bad choice. Okay, so let's change things up. I'll tell you what, let's shut that as well. Let's be really brave. Okay, now I'm gonna try a different Animoog, right. What sort of a sound is that? That's crackers. Okay. Just find the sound. That's a bit mad. Oh no, that one. No. Oh, right. Okay. Let's see. Setup. Oh, right. I can see Touchscaper listed there, right? So let's go here. And I've got note. Oh, I know why. Right, so apologies, that was a bit loud. Let's turn the volume down here. Okay, put my fader back up now. Okay, maybe we can manage a bit more of that. Okay. Right, I don't know why we're not getting any sort of like, you know, we're not getting any kind of fading in and out or anything. We're just kind of, you know, we're just kind of, we've just got some notes. Maybe there's a setting I need to pissy pants about with in Animoog, maybe. Maybe I shouldn't have pressed that. Oh dear. Who knows, eh? Who knows? I'm supposed to know. Right, so let's try. If I press Touchscaper A, right, and then let's try new. Okay. Right, now let's see what else we can add. Right, so that's instrument A going to Animoog. Instrument B, what should we send that to? Let's open something else. Something. Will that work? Because this app doesn't. I'm pressing the wrong thing. I'm just being stupid here. This app doesn't take up an awful lot of processing power. So where would I find my settings? I don't know if I've even looked at settings in this. I really don't think I have. Presets. Now, Jamie, you're just being like, oh, settings. Phew. Right. Midi channel in. Maybe I should just leave it on me. And then, right, I better put it to don't sleep. Background audio. Okay. We'll put an electric piano sound on. It's not seeing it, is it? It's not seeing it. And I honestly, let me be honest, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But you can see how, you know, if you're prepared to piss. Let me just switch that off. You know what we've got there, don't you? We've got a hanging note there. Right, I'm going to close these. Okay, so I think I've done enough there to show you that I didn't do enough prep when it came to the MIDI side of things. But I think I've shown you enough to show you what you press and what to pissy pants about with to get things kind of, you know, up and moving along as far as linking other apps together. You can do it inside of AUM as well, which obviously is a bit easier. But, you know, I kind of like the fact that I can use this app completely outside of AUM and on its own. So I'm going to go and select a sound here that I particularly like. I'm going to turn my fader back up. And what's really, really wonderful is when you do this. Now, if you want to do that and press hold, you have to think about where your fingers are going to end up. So if I can try to demonstrate. Little finger there, gyroscope. Okay, so I know that as soon as I finish this stream, I'm going to think, you know what, I should have showed him this, or I missed that, or I missed the other. But I think that that note's going on kind of a long time. I'm going to drag my fader down. But I think that I've probably done a reasonable job of showing you most of what it does and most of how it works. And I think for me, a big part of what I love about it is that in the arranger where you can set up, you know, your backing and everything, the sounds are so 80s, but like good 80s, you know, good 80s. And you know, I kind of I just love those sounds. It just, the whole thing about this app makes me incredibly happy. It's not just an app, it's an experience, and it is also therapy. You can completely lose yourself in this. So yes, this is a highly, highly recommended app from me. This just everything about it seems to be just really, really joyful, from the sounds to the ease of use to just the fact that you can change the color of the screen. You know, all the things that make me really happy. So thank you very, very much for being here, for joining me on this little journey. I've not done very much looking at the chat or communicating with you because I've been trying to concentrate on doing a really good job of showing you this particular app. So let me have a look at the chat now. Well, there's a fair few people still here, so you know, so it can't have been too terrible. I'm extremely flattered to see some of the other YouTubers here, and thank you so much for being here. Let me tell you this, right? So, a couple of videos ago, I used some of Zvon's samples, and they were really awesome, really, really cool. And He's just released a new pack on his Patreon account, so it might be well worth having a look at his Patreon um, and checking that out. I've had a listen to them, and I'm going to be using them in something. They are very, very cool. And if you haven't ever looked at his website or the samples and sounds and stuff he's got available, you really should do that. You should check that out. Also, Dean from Electron Sounds is here, and Dean, we all know, makes wonderful, helpful, brilliant videos that have helped us all on our mission to improve ourselves as musicians and understanding the technology. But don't forget that Dean also has his own website where he has samples and sounds and stuff like that available. So go check that out too. Thank you ever so much, Doug, for getting me the code for Touchscaper, and also for Waverly, which I have used in, I think, almost every single thing I've done since I got it. Right, I'm just having a look who else is here in the chat. I'm not seeing any questions or massive criticisms. So before I go, is there anything that you would like to ask me about this app? I should have not one interface but two by next stream, so you never know. I might be actually playing something with strings or something like that. I might be. Yes, Doug. Yes, Waverly got another pack today, which I got. Yes, and it's awesome. So check that out too, everyone. Okay, so unless anyone wants to shove any questions into the chat, I'd just like to say thank you very, very much for being here. It really, really makes me feel warm and fuzzy, and I really, really appreciate it. I hope I've done a decent job of explaining the app to you. If you think of any questions later, you're always very welcome to contact me at my email address, which is below the video, or any of my social media. It's all down there. There's my website as well if you'd like to check out all my failed adventures as a failed rock star. And if you'd like to check out some of my music, check out my Bandcamp. That's the place to listen to it now. My merchandise is there. My Don't Pissy Pants About t-shirts are now available at my Bandcamp, and they're pretty cool. And there's a lot of interesting stuff happening now on my Patreon account, if you might possibly like to consider checking that out. All right, so I'm gonna push off now and go and get my dinner. I think I successfully managed to hide every time my stomach rumbled by playing a chord. I just tried to play a chord and I've turned it down on the desk. Idiot. Right, so so everybody, be very, very good and take care of yourselves, and make lots of music, and don't piss your pants about. I will see you later. Bye-bye.